Hey folks, I'll start with a quick review of the tissues that we can find in this cross section. One of the things that I like to do just kind of as mental gymnastics is whenever I see a cross section through the body, I take the split second to try to decide what type of section it is. So remember, we have three primary sections: transverse, frontal or coronal, and then sagittal. This just happens to be a sagittal section through the skull. If we start at the front, there are external openings through which air passes. Those are the nares. We sometimes call them nostrils, but N-A-R-E-S, it would be plural. N-A-R-I-S, naris, would be singular. This is the nasal cavity right here. It's lined by mucous membrane that helps to add moisture and heat to incoming air. It also traps some particles. There are little grooves between upward curls, and the grooves are known as meatuses. So each one is a meatus, superior, middle, and inferior. And then there are little curls of bone called conchae or conchae. This is superior, middle, and inferior. And kind of together, those things help to increase the surface area. You actually have more mucous membranes. Moving back a little bit, there would be a structure right here that would go to the inner part of the ear. That's the auditory tube. This would be the nasopharynx, and these would be the pharyngeal tonsils, sometimes called adenoid glands. And if those things get swollen up, they cause all sorts of issues right here. Moving on back down here a little bit, here's the oral cavity. This would be the oropharynx. This is the soft palate, which has a uvula or uvula that hangs down. Associated with the regions down here, there are a couple tonsils you should know. These are the palatine or palatine tonsils. Even though they're sort of on the side of the mouth, they're more associated with the palate. On the back of the tongue, right here, there are lingual tonsils. And you can always translate the word or the prefix lingual or the suffix to meaning tongue. Down here a little bit, there will be the laryngopharynx, or the part of the pharynx that's associated with the larynx, and there are a couple of structures. So this is your larynx proper. There are a couple of different regions, and this is always kind of creepy. Epiglottis right here is the structure that allows food and beverages to move down into the esophagus and blocks off the hollow glottis that leads to the airways. This would be the epiglottis. If we could remove some tissue, this would be the thyroid cartilage, and in there we'd find vocal cords and vestibular folds, or vestibular folds and vocal cords in that order. And then down at the bottom, there's the cricoid cartilage that connects everything.